Hi, everyone. Welcome to Your Disabled Joy. My name is Nico and I use he, him pronouns. I'm a white man with wet, slicked back blonde hair, large blue and brown spectacles, and a red t-shirt. I'm seated in front of two bookcases and a purple wall. And like about 25% of the US population, I'm disabled. Non-disabled people might see our lives as tragic, sad, pitiful, but I don't know, guys. I've been disabled a pretty long time now, and I think there's also room for disabled joy. Our community has as many opinions as it has members, though, which is why I've asked my friend Chris here with me today to talk about disabled joy. Hi, Chris. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you very much for having me. Do you mind if I introduce myself to the audience?
I'd love it if you did.
Awesome. I am a human being. I'm a male. I guess my pronouns be he, him, but I'll answer to anything if there's food involved in it. I am sitting in my office, which the background is blurred at the moment because we're in an office remodel and it looks like a disaster zone behind me. So I don't want you to see it. I am wearing a blue baseball cap and a blue polo shirt. I got white headphones on. I wear glasses. I have blue eyes. I have a fairly clean shaven face. Occasionally I miss a whisker or two. I have short hair that is going grayish white because all that knowledge in my head is pushing out into the hair and is scaring the color out of my hair. So that's why I have grayish white hair. And I'm just honored to be here today.
Thank you so much, Chris. Chris, can you share a joyful memory with me? It could have to do with your disability, or it could be totally separate.
It's actually a life memory, and it has nothing to do with my disability and as well as overall life. My most joyous memory had occurred 20 years ago. It was on June 7th, 2003. Now, a lot of people would say, would your joyous memory be something disabled related, which I've had many of them. Like after I became physically disabled from an incomplete spinal cord injury, I really celebrated 5 years after it when I taught myself, after not having physical therapy for 5 years because my insurance company quit paying for it, how to walk again using a rollator. But my most joyous overall memory in my life is the day that I got married to my wife, Kimberly. That was wonderful to me because the marriage rate in the disabled community is only 50% of what it is in the non-disabled community. Me, that victory was awesome. I had my incomplete spinal cord injury about a year earlier, and we were dating at the time. We were engaged. She did not bail on me. We got married on June 7th, 2003, and it was a great experience. My joyous memory to this day has been the day that she agreed to be my wife. And each year when she renews, because we do this on our anniversary, do you want to continue being married? And she and I both agree to renew the contract each year. So that's my most joyous memory.
I actually really love that. I love that memory. Thank you so much. I loved how it fits into your wider story. And I especially love that you take each year to check in with each other and make sure that the relationship is still solid. I got married myself recently, and I might take that practice from you.
I learned that from the TV show The Dinosaurs. It was a puppet type show in the 1990s. That's where I got the idea from.
That's right. I have some like very early memories of that show, probably of pre-age 5. Fantastic. Thank you, Chris. How has your disability affected how you pursue joy or finding that which brings you happiness?
Well, the way that I don't like the word affected.
Okay.
It's the right word, but I don't look at it affected in the sense of a negative, because a lot of people, when they hear the word affected, they think of a negative experience.
Yeah.
And I will say my disabilities, and I have many. I was born with cataracts, so I'm legally blind. I have had a speech impediment, which I still have a little bit of that today. I have ADD, ADHD, which has really made it a very interesting marriage and life for me. And of course, my physical disability we spoke about earlier, my incomplete spinal cord injury.
Yes.
But that's not affected me in a negative way. It has challenged me. That's the word I like to use.
Okay.
Because being disabled is not for a wimp. Being disabled is not for a wimp. It is for people who are strong. And I look at everything, every obstacle, whether it be, a barrier for me to have equal access to something, or, a term that's popular in our community, ableism, ableist society, and ableist, as challenges. And I take on those challenges because to me, those challenges make me stronger. Like I said, I may have said a moment ago, being disabled is not for a wimp.
Mhm.
It's a term from my generation. It separates the men from the boys or the women for the girls. It's only strong people. And those of us who are, who become disabled, it didn't happen to us. It happened for us because we are strong people and we can take it on. So I see challenges in my life. I don't see obstacles. I don't see negativeness. I see challenges and I take them on. And whether I defeat them or not, what comes out at the end, I'm a stronger person.
I like how you say that. I think that, I think that what you say is true in terms of disability not being for wimps. And I really appreciate this mindset that you have of facing each challenge every day, because as you say, you either win or you learn. And either way is not terribly negative. I appreciate that perspective, Chris. Thank you. If I gave you a magic megaphone and you could say one thing to the entire world about disability and disabled quality of life, what would that be?
The one thing I would tell people is, one, quit parking in my parking spot. No.
Okay, that's valid.
Now, when I first had my disability, my physical disability, when that first happened to me, we parked in a disabled spot next to the striped area, and this idiot parked in the striped area. I was dealing with the hostility of, a month ago I could walk, and now I got to use a wheelchair, and I was a little upset with him. And I came out of the store. Don't do this, by the way, because I don't want to get sued later. I poured Pepsi into his keyhole of his car. Don't
Okay,
do that. Bad idea.
we'll keep this secret for you.
Yeah, yeah. And if you do, don't mention my name, okay?
I
But what
won't.
I would love to tell people is, disabled people can do anything that an able-bodied person can do. We may take we may take more time or a different route. When I went to college, which I did for many years, and unfortunately it was not for me, but one thing I did learn from it in a Psych 51 course, which is like a introductory psychology course, there's two kinds of thinking: fixed thinking and functional thinking. Fixed thinking is, you see a hammer and you think the hammer can only do one thing: hammer a nail into a board. The functional thinking person looks at that hammer and says, well, so like Gallagher, who had that giant sledgehammer, I
I
could put a window where a wall is, or a door where I always wanted one, with this little hammer. And we people who are in the disabled community, if we're not already, we have the potential to be great problem solvers. And that's what we do. We face challenges every single day, and we have to find a solution to them. And to do that, we use functional thinking. Not a lot of people do that in this world. So that's a quality each and every disabled person has. If you're disabled, you need to know that quality. You need to own it. You need to strengthen that. And if you're non-disabled and you're thinking, why should I hire somebody with a disability? Because they are great problem solvers. And if you hire somebody like me with ADHD, we come for bonus. We're great problem creators too.
Thank you, Chris. I love all these miniature jokes that you're making, but I also love the points that you're making. Disabled people are very creative, and we are very resilient, and we are very innovative. Granted, because we have to be, but those traits do serve us well in everyday life. Thank you, my friend. I'm glad you're here. My last planned question is one that I ask all my interviewees, regardless of project. Is there a recent win that you're celebrating that you want to mention so that we can celebrate it alongside you? Or if not, are you doing anything cool? Do you have any projects coming up? And finally, if you're open to connecting, growing your presence online, where can people find you online? This is your chance to really brag and promote yourself. So step up on that soapbox, be that cheerleader for yourself.
All right. Well, thank you. Those are awesome questions. I love the opportunity. In fact, I have an answer to all three of those. My
Okay.
most recent accomplishment that I'm celebrating is 20 years of marriage. The most important thing is, yay, yeah. Because unfortunately, there's a lot of relationships in the disabled community that do not survive. And I mean, there's various factors, but one of the bigger ones that we struggle with is the other person in the relationship not being comfortable or adapting well to our disability, and that unfortunately becomes an obstacle. My wife does not have a disability, at least not during the time that we were dating in our first 18 years of marriage. And she now has cancer, which does fall underneath the ADA. But, you know, we've had a marriage where I was the disabled person. She was a non-disabled person. So we celebrated 20 years of that. I've also earned my confidence life coaching certification. And what I'm working on is developing a self-confidence coaching program designed specifically for people in the disabled community. 86% of us, and that means disabled anyone on the world, every single demographic struggles for self-confidence. And that is the biggest obstacle I believe we as disabled people have to face. We get it from ableist society, um, all of that combined, and it tears down our self-confidence, and we need to build that up. And if we want to succeed in life, it's not about setting goals, those are important, or anything else you read. It's confidence, because you do not believe in what you can do, you're not going to have a good chance of accomplishing it. And if people want to connect with me, I'm not a real big fan of social media, but the best way to find where I am on social media or to connect with me directly is my website, thechrismitchell.com. Let me spell that out for you, for those of us who are spelling impaired, because there's many ways you can spell names. The T-H-E, Chris, C-H-R-I-S, Mitchell, Mitchell.com. And COM is calm for those of us who did not know and thought I was saying calm, C-A-L-M is C-O-M. So that's how you can reach out and connect with me. And I would love to hear from every single person listening to this. And if my words inspired you to become a stronger, more confident person with a disability, then my time here today was well spent.
With this project. All right, my friend, take care. And audience, tune in next time. And remember, I'm rooting for you.